All right, guys, it's Logan with Enduro Engineering, and in this off season now that we're getting into the winter time, we're going to be going through doing a few different bike builds. Various people here that work at the shop showing you what we do to get their bikes ready for what particular riding they're going to do. The first one that we've got up is this 2021 Sherco. It's a 250 SE factory edition. This is one of Alan Rant's personal bikes that he purchased earlier this year. And we've kind of put a little bit of time on it, but not much, and did different parts to kind of make it his and make it work for him. So we're going to go over kind of what we did and show you guys what we did and why we did it and who we're using for parts and stuff like that. So getting right at it, in the comfort department, basically, Alan runs the ODI, the CFT Podium MX bars. This is in the 928 bend. Basically, it's similar to what a KTM XCW would have stock, so he likes that bend and went with that. We also go with the ODI grips. These are the Pro Edition half waffles. They're white because Al's kind of old and he needs soft grips, so we have the super soft compound on his bike for him. And then in the levers, we have the Enduro Engineering lever covers. They work great for traction if it's wet, anything like that. And then also getting into the cold weather, now this time of year, you're not having bare metal levers that you have to hold on to, so it helps keep your fingers warmer riding in this kind of weather. And then he likes a hard seat. It's a real firm seat. It's a little bit taller than stock, but this is a seat foam that we came up with here at Enduro Engineering for Alan and did an Enduro Engineering seat cover on it. And then moving into the traction department, we start out with Kenda tires. Pretty much on all the bikes here we run a Washougal 2 front. We kind of think that it works great in all conditions and it holds up well. And then on the rear we use a Millville 2 in the soft direction. We're in Michigan here, so we see a lot more sand and stuff like that, so we run the Millville 2 on the rear. And then inside the tires, we take the tubes out and run a foam insert in the tires. Basically, it gives us no chance of a flat tire, and then we like the way that it feels on rocks and logs. You don't have that bouncing effect. It kind of gives it a dead blow effect, but most importantly is the no flat tires. So we also do the Motion Pro rim locks on both front and rear. Just gives us a lighter, stronger rim lock. It holds the tire in place better, and then it's got a better nut on it to really tighten it down, hold that tire in place. Then once the chain and sprockets wear out, right now he's going to run the stock chain and sprockets, but typically after, it's a wear item, so chain and sprockets wear out, that's when we move into the Sunstar and get Sunstar sprockets and get a O-ring Sunstar chain on there also. Right now, since Sherco comes with a solid rotor, we typically put a solid rotor on all of our bikes, but the Shercos come with a solid rotor, so that's a bonus. We didn't have to buy one for that, but we did switch it out to braking pads. Alan just prefers that feel, that connection better than what stock pads would have. Moving into the protection, pretty much everything's in-house. We run the Enduro Engineering skid plate with linkage guard. It's a full aluminum skid plate, gives you great protection over basically the frame rails, engine cases, and then our skid plates come up on the side, protects your foot pegs, brake control, the brake pedal, and the shifter gives you a little bit more protection than just a flat skid plate would. And then that linkage guard bolts right up. It's composite material that's going to basically create a slide plate between you and a rock or a log. Makes it so your linkage slides right over it without getting damaged. And then another good thing that it does is in the muddy conditions, it keeps mud out of your bearings really well. Most people don't think about that, but once you get into those muddy conditions and you wash your bike and you have an Enduro Engineering linkage guard on, you'll see that a lot of the mud stayed out of your bearings. We also run the radiator guards. This is a newer product that we have here at Enduro Engineering. It's super easy to install, only takes a few minutes each side. You don't have to take the whole radiator off, nothing like that. It's going to give you a great protection from impacts to the front, or if you tip over and land on a rock or anything like that, it gives us great side protection as well. These are available right now for the Shercos, so we put a set on there on Alan's bike here. Another Enduro Engineering product we put on here is the clutch guard. It's a real strong one-piece material that we put. It is going to protect your clutch slave if you tip over or rock or something hits that side of that clutch slave, or if a chain was to break and throw the chain, it's going to save your cases from breaking. But another thing that we like about it is you're taking away that plastic guard, that it collects mud, wears your chain out faster, wears your sprocket out faster, kind of keeps it a lot cleaner in there, and you're not having as much debris get collected up in that plastic guard. Also, another product we put on is the Enduro Engineering rear disc guard. It replaces the whole caliper carrier instead of just one disc on the bottom. It's going to strengthen the whole brake caliper basically from any collisions with rocks or anything like that. And then also with that shark fin coming down, it's going to guard your rotor, keep your rotor from getting bent or dinged up or anything like that. So big help on the rear rotor there with the Enduro Engineering rear disc guard. And then on this particular one, for Alan, he went with the aluminum moto roost deflectors. They mount right up to the perches of your levers, both the clutch lever and the brake lever. And they're a real stout and sturdy open-ended deflector. So guys that are used to running a full wrap that want to switch over to an open-ended, it's a better option for them, more usable. And he goes back and forth kind of between the full wraps and the open-ended depending on what he's going to be riding. So we ended up putting in these bar ends that we make here at Enduro Engineering. Basically, so once you have the full wraps, you cut the ends of the grips, then you're going to have a hole in your handlebars. So we add in these bar ends inserts, keeps the dirt out of them, keeps your grips clean if you crash, stuff like that. Really going to protect the end of the handlebar. So then we're going to move into what we did for stability on this bike. Alan went through and we revalved the suspension here in shop at Enduro Engineering. Basically what we did on the forks is we lightened up the initial dampening, and by doing that, we softened up the compression spring, that small compression spring at the top of the cap, and then we added in more high-speed rebound in the valving. And then Sherco comes a little bit soft on the spring rates, so we stiffened up both the fork spring. I think he went from a 4.2 to a 4.4, and then on the shock spring we went up a spring rate as well from stock. So just stiffened up the spring rates, but changed the valving to kind of lighten that initial dampening, and then some more high-speed rebound. And then we got these triple clamps from X-Trigs, the X-Trigs Rocks triple clamps. Sherco's come with a 22 millimeter offset on their triple clamps, and this X-Trig one's a 24 millimeter. Basically what we did there is, or why we did it, is to just get more stability in the whole bike, both high speed, low speed, tight stuff, everything. The bike just is a lot more stable having that 24 millimeter offset. So the X-Trigs offers that, and we just got these in last week, so that's been a big help on this bike. So then on top of the triple clamps, we go with the XC Gear Mako 360 bar mount. Alan uses the mid-range of the flex on the polymers. So basically the XC Gear bar mounts are going to be able to float the handlebars, giving you just a smoother ride, taking away some of the vibration out of the motorcycle, and then the harsh hits on off-road stuff, you're really saving your wrists and your elbows by doing so. And Alan, he absolutely needs that with the bad elbows that he's got. Just, he's an old guy. What can we say? So that helps out a lot, and we get those from Lance over at XC Gear. And then basically that's about all we do stability-wise, and then getting the bike running a little bit better. Basically, it's just simple carb adjustments. Nothing that you can't do in your garage yourself. Basically just moving the float needle down one clip to lean it out. And then the Sherco's carburetors come at such an angle, you know, where they connect from the air boot into the motor. It's more of an angle than most bikes. So basically what he did is he lowered the float bowl, the level on it, so that it doesn't flood itself out by being at that angle. By doing those two things, it's made a world of a difference. It really livens this bike up, runs a lot better, smoother, cleaner. You're getting less blow by on the exhaust, stuff like that. So other than that, we put a funnel web air filter on it. Basically it's just, you know, he's out for long weekends. If he's doing national enduros or stuff like that, he might ride 3-4 days in a row. Adding a funnel web filter, having that extra surface area to collect the dirt and dust to keep it out of your motor is a big help, we've found, and they work really, really well. So the only other thing that we would have done is put an FMF gnarly pipe on it, but these Shercos come with it. He typically puts an FMF gnarly on any two-stroke that he gets, but these Shercos come stock with it, so that was a big bonus. We didn't have to call up FMF and buy one, you know, to start out with. So basically it's all stuff that you can do in your garage. You know, nothing that we did to this bike isn't something that you can do or call us up, order the parts. It's all right off the shelf or right out of the catalog stuff. So we're not going crazy with it. This particular bike is Al's bike for now. He likes to go through bikes quite a bit, so 2 weeks from now he might be on something a different color or 4-stroke or whatever. So for now he's riding the 250 2-stroke from Sherco. He's really liking it, and we just wanted to show you what we did to it and how we make it run good and work for Alan in his current conditions. So thanks guys, and be on the lookout for more bike builds here throughout the year or throughout the off season, and we'll move forward.